Hi. Today we're going to explore cutout letters in la lengua castellana, which is the Spanish language, and we're going to explore a certain construction of a verb with a receiving participle that has a very curious meaning, and that translation I think you'll really like. So let's get started. First, we're going to trace out the first letter, which is a T. And so, up, across, this way, and down, this. So then we're going to take out scissors and simply cut out the letter. The first letter is a T, and that's shown the word is spelled T-E. Okay. And that is day. It's the exact same word as used for tea, as in the tea we drink, but the meaning means you in receiving, that, which is to say you are going to receive. The next letter I'm tracing is an E, and I want to create wide enough letters so when you cut them out, there's enough paper between so you can see the letter. E is a little more complicated to cut. There are more lines. But it's also a more rewarding experience. It's a little tricky when you get inside, but you can bend the letters a little bit. It's not a problem. Goes this way, and this way, and then finally one more cut up this way, and then we'll snip off this. Now we have T-E, day, day. Okay. And we'll put that carefully and place them on this bag in preparation for final composition. Okay. Now the next letter is going to be a little more complicated because it is a Q. So we'll have the circle on the outside and the little the line that juts out, we'll let that go, and then inside. Okay. So you see, that's the drawing of the Q. It's going to be a little more complicated to cut out. First, let's cut out the outside. Q is the first letter in the word. Get it? Q-U-E-R-E-R, which means in most contexts to want. Depending on how you use it though, it means to love. And I should clarify that the wanting, it's not to be confused with something like desire. That's a different word entirely. the translation is to love. So in Spanish you say, te quiero, it means I love you. But kind of oddly enough, it's also the same word for if somebody said like, yeah, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. Quiero ser médico cuando sea mayor. Yet another example in language as in life, where context is the great definer. Okay, like I said, this is a slightly more difficult cut job. It's a little messy, but I'd say that it's just fine. So like I said, the verb is querer, Q-U-E-R-E-R, but we're going to use a different construction of the word. We're going to use te quiere, which literally means he, she, or it loves you. Now, why would I use this form? In Spanish, you say te quiere, even though the literal translation is he, she, or it loves you. The closest thing it means in English would be you are loved. Now, that's important because it takes the emphasis off the person who is delivering the utterance and puts the emphasis on the receiving end. So instead of saying, I love you, you're saying, you are loved. Q-U, quiere. This is an irregular verb. So even though the verb is querer, it's conjugated quiere. Q-U-I-E-R-E. Okay. Like I said, when it's all done, it will spell te quiere. See, I'm folding this one now. It's a trick. So now we have T-E-T-E-Q-U-I. And now in the E, and I'm sure this is not the last time I will say this, but I particularly like this construction of the verb and the expression because it takes the emphasis off the person saying it and places it on the person who's receiving it. In other words, the beloved. So there's the E. So now we have T-E-Q-U-I-E, and now we just need the R and one more E. going to be quite a challenge to cut inside the R, inside this semicircle R. There we go. Okay. I might just black it out actually. Oops. So yes, let's do that actually. So we have T, E, Q, U, I, E, R. And we just need one more E and we are done. Like I said, the more common version of this expression would be te quiero, which translates quite comfortably and literally as I love you. But for the purpose of this exercise, we're exploring the expression te quiere, whose closest translation would be you are loved. Okay, so let's clear space here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a small piece of tape on each one to put them in a line. Okay. Let's start with the Q. No, sorry, the T. Okay. Actually, we might just use one long piece. So here, okay. Now I'll do this down here where it's not quite visible. But then we'll have the big reveal. Quite nice. Okay. Now I'm going to affix them with a piece of tape. Okay. Actually, I'm going to try and put a piece of tape behind each letter. I think that would be much nicer. Pardon the change of plans here. Yeah, that's much better. I'll cut them out of it. This is going to be lovely, I think. Okay. Okay, here we are. It's a Q. U. rolling with the little piece of tape is kind of a challenge. But I think it's going to work out just fine. Yes. Okay. Okay, 2 more letters and we are done. And the bigger reveal. Okay. One more E. And now our message. To get it, you are loved.